A people, when they are reduced unto misery and despair, become their own politicians, as certain beasts, when they are sick, become their own physicians, and are carried by a natural instinct unto the desire of such herbs as are their proper cure. But the people, for the greater part, are beneath the beasts in the use of them. Thus, the people of Rome, though in their misery, they had recourse, by instinct as it were, unto the two main fundamentals of a commonwealth, participation of magistracy and the agrarian, did but taste and spit at them, not, which is necessary in physic, drink down the potion, and in that their healths. For when they had obtained participation of magistracy, it was but lamely, not to a full and equal rotation in all elections, nor did they greatly regard it in so much as they had gotten. And when they had attained unto the agrarian, they neglected it so far as to suffer the law to grow obsolete. But if you do not take the due dose of your medicine, as there be slight tastes which a man may have a philosophy that incline unto atheism, it may chance to be poison, there being a like taste of the politics that inclines to confusion, as appears in the institution of the Roman tribunes, by which magistracy, and no more, the people were so far from attaining unto peace, that they, in getting but so much, got but heads for eternal feud. Whereas, if they had attained in perfection either unto the agrarian, they had introduced the equality and calm of Lacedaemon, or unto rotation, they had introduced that of Venice. And so there could have been no more enmity between the Senate and the people of Rome than there was between those orders in Lacedaemon or in Venice. Wherefore, Machiavel seemeth unto me, in attributing the peace of Venice, more unto her luck than her prudence, of the whole stable, to have saddled the wrong horse for thought Rome, que non imitabile fulmen are, et conupidum cursu simularat ecorum. In her military part could beat it better, beyond all comparison. Upon the sounding hoof, Venice for the civil hath plainly had the wings of Pegasus. The whole question then will come upon this point, whether the people of Rome could have obtained these orders. And first, to say that they could not have obtained them without altering the commonwealth is no argument, seeing neither could they, without altering the commonwealth, have obtained their tribunes, which nevertheless were obtained. And if a man consider the posture that the people were in when they obtained their tribunes, they might as well, and with as great ease, for as much as the reason why the nobility yielded unto the tribunes was no other than that there was no remedy, have obtained anything else. And for experience, it was in the like case that the Lacedaemonians set up their ephors, and the Athenians, after the battle of Plataea, bowed the Senate. So hard a thing it is for a commonwealth that was born crooked to become straight, as much the other way. Nor, if it be objected that this must have ruined the nobility, and in that deprived the commonwealth of the greatness which she acquired by them, is this opinion holding, but confuted by the sequel of the story, showing plainly that the nobility, through the defect of such orders, that is to say, of rotation and the agrarian, came to eat of the people, and battering themselves in luxury, to be, as Sallust spaketh of them, intermissimi nobiles, in quibus sicut in statua praeter nomen nihil erat aditamenti, to bring so mighty a commonwealth, so huge a glory unto so deplorable an end. Wherefore means might have been found, whereby the enmity that was between the Senate and the people of Rome might have been removed. My lords, if I have argued well, I have given you the comfort and assurance that notwithstanding the judgment of Machiavel, your commonwealth is both safe and sound. But if I have not argued well, then take the comfort and assurance which he gives you, while he is firm that a legislator is to lay aside all other examples, and follow that of Rome only, conniving and temporizing with the enmity between the Senate and the people as a necessary step unto the Roman greatness. Whence it follows that your commonwealth is the worst, at the worst, is that which he hath given you his word is the best. I have held your lordships long, but upon an account of no small importance, which I can now sum up in these few words. Where there is a licorishness in a popular assembly to debate, it proceedeth not from the constitution of the people, but of the commonwealth. Now that the commonwealth is of such constitution as is naturally free from this kind of intemperance, is that which to make good I must divide the remainder of my discourse into two parts. The first, showing the several constitutions of the assemblies of the people in other commonwealths; the second, comparing of our assembly of the people with theirs, and showing how it excludeth the inconveniences and embraceth the conveniences of them all. In the beginning of the first part, I must take notice that among the popular error of our days, it is no small one, that men imagine the ancient governments of this kind to have consisted for the most part of one city, that is, of one town, whereas by what we have learned of my lords that opened them, it appears that there was not any considerable one of such a constitution but Carthage, till this, in our days, Venice. For to begin with Israel, it consisted of 12 tribes, locally spread or quartered throughout the whole territory. These being called together by trumpets, constituted the church or assembly of the people. The vastness of this weight, as also the slowness thence unavoidable, became a great cause, as hath been shown at large by my lord Phosphorus, of the breaking that commonwealth. Notwithstanding that the temple and those religious ceremonies for which the people were at least annually obliged to repair thither, were no small ligament of the tribes, otherwise but slightly tacked together. Athens consisted of 4 tribes, taking in the whole people, both in the city and of the territory, not so gathered by Theseus into one town as to exclude the country, but to the end that there might be some capital of the commonwealth, though true to be that the congregation, consisting of the inhabitants within the walls, was sufficient to all intents and purposes, without those of the country. These also, being exceeding numerous, became burdensome unto themselves, and dangerous unto the commonwealth, the more for their ill education, as is observed by Xenophon and Polybius, who compare them unto mariners, that in a calm are perpetually disputing and swaggering one with another, and never lay their hands unto the common tackling or safety till they be all endangered by some storm, which caused Thucydides, when he saw this people, through the purchase of their misery, become so much wiser as to reduce their comitia or assemblies unto 5,000, to say, as in his 8th book, and now, at least in my time, the Athenians seem to have ordered their state aright, consisting of a moderate temper, both of the few, by which he means the senate of the being, and of the many, or the 5,000. And he doth not only give you his judgment, but the best proof of it. For this, saith he, was the first thing that after so many misfortunes past made the city again to raise her head. The place I would desire your lordships to note as the first example that I find or think to be found of a popular assembly by way of representative. Lacedaemon consisted of 30,000 citizens dispersed throughout Laconia, one of the greatest provinces in all Greece, and divided, as by some authors is probable, into 6 tribes. Of the whole body of these being gathered consisted the great church or assembly, which had the legislative power. The little church, gathered sometimes for matters of concernment within the city, consisted of the Spartans only. These happened, like that of Venice, to be good constitutions of a congregation, but for an ill cause, the infirmity of a commonwealth, which through her paucity was oligarchical. Wherefore, go which way you will, it should seem that without a representative of the people, your commonwealth, consisting of an whole nation, can never avoid falling either into oligarchy or confusion. This is seen by the Romans, whose rustic tribes, extending themselves from the river Arno unto the Vulturnus, that is, from Faesulae or Florence unto Capua, invented a way of representative by lots, the tribe upon which the first fell being the prerogative, and some 2 or 3 more that had the rest, the jure vocate. These gave the suffrage of the commonwealth minis comitiis, the prerogative at the first assembly, and the jure vocate at the second. Now, to make the parallel, all the inconveniences that you have observed in these assemblies are shut out, and all the conveniences taken in to your prerogative. For first, it is that for which Athens, shaking off the blame of Xenophon and Polybius, came to deserve the praise of Thucydides, a representative, and secondly, not, as I suspect in that of Athens, and is past suspicion in this of Rome, by lot, but by suffrage, as was also the late House of Commons, by which means in the prerogatives all the tribes of Oceana are jure vocate, and if a man shall accept against the paucity of the standing number, it is a wheel which in the revolution of a few years turneth every hand that is fit, or fitteth every hand that it turns unto the public work. Moreover, I am deceived if upon due consideration it do not fetch your tribes with greater equality and ease unto themselves and unto the government from the frontiers of Marpesia than Rome ever brought any one of hers out of her Pomeria, or the nearest part of her adjoining territories. To this you may add that, whereas a commonwealth which in regard of the people is not of facility in execution, were sure enough in this nation to be cast off through impatience, your musters and galaxies are given unto the people as milk unto babes, whereby, when they are brought up through 4 days' election in an whole year, 1 at the parish, 1 at the 100, and 2 at the tribe, unto their strongest meat, it is of no harder digestion than to give their negative or affirmative as they see cause. There be gallant men among us that laugh at such appeal or umpire, but I refer it whether you be more inclining to pardon them or me, who I confess have been this day laughing at a sober man, but without meaning him any harm, and that is Petrus Cuneus, where speaking of the nature of the people, he saith that taking them apart, they are very simple, but yet in their assemblies they see and know something, and so runs away without troubling himself with what that something is, whereas the people taken apart are but so many private interests. Of a commonwealth, as hath been shown, is nearest that of mankind, and that of mankind is right reason. But with the aristocracy, whose reason or interest, when they are all together, as appeared by the patricians, is but that of a party, it is quite contrary. For as taken apart, they are far wiser than the people, consider it in that manner. So being put together, they are such fools that are deposing the people, as did those of Rome. They will saw off the branch whereupon they sit, or rather destroy the root of their own greatness. Whereas Machiavel, following Aristotle, and yet going before him, may well assert, che la multitudine è più savia e più costante che un principe, the prerogative of popular government for wisdom, and whence it is that the prerogative of your commonwealth, as for wisdom, so for power, is in the people, which, albeit I am not ignorant that the Roman prerogative was so called a prerogando, because their suffrage was first asked, because the denomination unto your prerogative tribe.